Good morning, everyone. Let us start the session with the prayer. A very good morning to all the participants. Sabhi ko mera namaskar. I welcome you all to the third day of the workshop on mental well-being, neuroscience and meditation. Good morning, Vasanji.
Good morning, all.
I think Usha ma'am is yet to join the session. So I'm just waiting for her.
Okay, I think in the meanwhile we can start.
All right, over to you.
Good morning, all of you. And today being the concluding day of this 3-day workshop, and till now we have been primarily talking about mental well-being and associated very fundamental and basic neuroscience concepts. Today we'll be talking about the most interesting topic, which is of interest to everybody, is on meditation and neuroscience. What does neuroscience say about meditation? Meditation, as we know, is in fact in today's era, it has in fact become a big industry. I was browsing for the statistics and I found that almost about it has become a $10 billion industry, which is growing year after year since last decade at the rate of 10 to 15%. So the world over, there are so many people working on meditation, practicing it, trying to live that in their lives. So there are various religious institutions, ashrams also propounding various meditation techniques. And at the same time, you have various YouTube channels, television channels talking about various meditation techniques. Today, we are going to look at it from a scientific point of view, which will cut across all these various meditation techniques and hopefully clear some of the doubts about what meditation is suitable for me, how to choose particular meditation techniques, and even guidelines behind the meditation technique. Because once we look at from a scientific point of view, it will cut across um, all faith-based or religious meditation techniques.
Vasant bhai,
Mm-hmm.
there is one or two black boxes that are coming in between your shared screen. I think that might be the participants box or the Zoom control panel.
Yes, participants box, I have closed it, but the Zoom control panel is still there.
And you have shared this your laptop screen or just the presentation?
Just the presentation.
Okay, okay. Yesterday it was not there, but today it is
Right.
somehow.
So let me try it again. I come out of the slideshow mode, but it is still there.
Let me check.
Let me stop share and do the sharing again.
It is still there. It's
Yeah,
a bigger one.
oh, it's a bigger one now this time.
Yes, the same place, but it is now little bit bigger. There might be a control on that same Zoom panel where you can hide that control panel.
Why don't I try and share the screen and see if it's better?
Just a second. I think now it's smaller.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So, so getting into the meditation, today we'll first go through an experiential meditation session, a guided visualization meditation. But before we go through that, I'd like all of you to see this very short video, and the video will actually say it all about what kind of meditation we are going to plan after this. Every time I see that, it's always something to deeply think about, um, sort of understanding and experiencing the interconnectedness within us. And most importantly, recognizing that happiness really in long terms cannot really exist at a individual level. It's always a collective happiness, collective joy, cannot exist at a singularity primarily. So with that, I'd like to go through a guided visualization meditation with all of you. Just some to talk about the fundamental neuroscience concept, which is being fully used in this meditation technique. Essentially, what it says is that our brains cannot differentiate between the real and the imaginary. A very simple example to give for that is, let's say you're watching a movie, a very emotional movie, and you also go through all those emotions, although you know that it's just happening on the screen. And certain emotional people, you know that they even go through such intensely that they even cry. So our brains really cannot differentiate between the real and imaginary, and this phenomena has been used in a very positive way in this guided visualization meditation technique. And the effects of this meditation have been so profound that the National Institute of Health in US considers this technique as a part of a conventional medicine to treat various chronic illnesses under the umbrella of mind-body medicine, and thus enhance the quality of life. In most of the big or the advanced hospitals in the West, they in fact have a formal mind-body medicine section, mindfulness center section, where such practices are being done both for the patients and the caregivers. Because the caregivers, yes, also go through a lot of challenges in terms of working with their own near and dear ones. So coming to today's meditation that we would like all of you to experience is meditation on interconnectedness of our existence, along with gratitude and loving kindness, which we strongly consider as the foundation of our own mental well-being. And if we can really extend that, we can also see that as an extension to our own spiritual well-being. So for next 20 to 25 minutes is going to be a guided visualization meditation. I would like all of you to see this particular slide, this image. On the left top corner is a picture of showing that we are all connected, same on the right. And at the bottom left, you can see that a person visualizing the entire Milky Way galaxy. And at the bottom right is a picture at a very, very subatomic level. Now, how the subatomic particles are being shown over there. And you can zoom, we're going to zoom in and zoom out right from there up to the cosmic level as you follow this guided meditation instruction. So keep this picture at the back of your mind, see it very clearly, and the rest of the meditation, you're going to do it primarily with eyes closed. So this meditation uses the most part of the real estate of our brain, both audio, visual, and also imaginary. So those who can really imagine and keep this picture in their mind for a long period of time, and also go through the instructions very intensely and feel it as the instructions are being said, that will help you to really experience this meditation in a more deeper sense. So with that, I'm going to straight away go into the guided meditation practice. You can now comfortably be seated, either on your chair or in Sukhasana, and keeping your eyes gently closed. Make sure you are comfortably and evenly seated where you may not need to change your posture for next 20 to 25 minutes. Keep your back and neck straight. Relax your facial region, neck region. If you wish to, you may even relax in Savasana and just listen to the instructions, keeping that slide, that image in your memory. Let go all external thoughts. Bring a gentle smile on your face with a sense of gratefulness for this beautiful, pleasant winter morning. And with a calm and quiet mind, feel your breath. Focus on your breath. The life force within you. And get further deeply anchored to the present moment. Mind, body, breath, everything at the same place, same time. And with that relaxed but attentive mind, please follow the instructions. As you're following the instructions, if your mind wanders away, just become aware and gently, lovingly come back your breath and come back to following the instructions, keeping the memory of that slide at the in your memory. Try and feel intensely as I'm going to read through the instructions on this particular meditation technique. Feel deeply, Feel genuinely feel that you are one with the instructions and visualize with your eyes closed as you go through the instructions. Visualize yourself comfortably seated in your room, blessed with a beautiful house. The room in which you are is a part of your house. The house that you live in is a part of the neighborhood, your neighborhood. The neighborhood that you live in is a part of the city, your city. The city that you live in is a part of the state. Your state. The state that you live in is a part of the nation. Your nation. The nation that you live in is a part of the continent. The continent that you live in is a part of the planet Earth. The Mother Earth, which belongs to all of us. Our Earth is one of the planets of our entire solar system. The Sun is one of the hundreds of billions of stars in our galaxy called the Milky Way galaxy. This Milky Way galaxy is one of the billions of galaxies in the universe. A profound fact is when you are looking at the stars in the universe, you are literally looking at the past anywhere from a few minutes to several years. Our solar system in this universe is like a speck of dust. Imagine that we shrink our solar system to fit onto the palm of our hand. Then the sun is smaller than a grain of sand on our palms. And you are one of the several billions of people in this universe. And you are one in a billion. Yes, indeed, just one in a billion. But so unique. Keep your eyes closed. And keep focusing on your breath and follow my instruction. Visualize and feel all of this intensely. And now, after this cosmic journey, let us zoom back into our micro universe. The cosmic universe is made up of billions of galaxies, and our Milky Way galaxy is one of them. The Sun is one of the hundreds of billions of stars in our Milky Way galaxy. Our planet Earth is one of the planets of our solar system. The continent that you live in is one of the 7 continents on this earth. The nation that you live in is one of the many nations on this earth. The state and the city that you live in is one of the many in your nation. The house that you live in is one of the many houses in your neighborhood. And you are in this house at this point of time, in this room, enjoying your home on this planet and in this universe. What makes us enjoy our home on this planet is the gravitational force that is acting upon us. It is the same force of gravity that holds the planets in their orbits as they revolve around the sun. It is the same force of gravity that holds the galaxies together in this universe. This invisible force is poetically and spiritually can be expressed and can be experienced as love, pure love, as unconditional love. It's unconditional force that binds us together, that holds us together. This unconditional love is referred to in Sanskrit as Ahaituk Priti, as described in our scriptures. This unconditional love is eternal and is beyond time, space, and causation. It is this eternal, unconditional love, or the Ahaituk Priti, that holds all of us together, right from the subatomic level to the cosmic level. Everything is in its place, in its orbit. Let us just experience the same. Let us try and experience and express the same with our own children, with our own parents, with our own relatives or extended relatives, so as to experience real joy real sense of well-being, let us understand this interconnectedness of our existence. Let us recognize that real joy, real happiness cannot be found in isolation. It can be only found as a collective. Yet, let us also embrace that each one of us are unique. Unique amongst the 7 billion people on this planet. Unique and special. What are we using this uniqueness for? Are we using this uniqueness to come together in harmony and love? Or to grow apart by differentiating and finding the differences and faults? Always remember that each one of us is absolutely amazing and unique, just like everyone else is also unique and amazing. This fundamental interconnectedness lies at the ultimate heart of our reality, of our existence. Each one of us are because everything else is. I am because you are. The whole fundamental science behind Ubuntu. We all depend on this interconnection, both at the microcosmos level, at the subatomic level, right up to the cosmic level. This interdependency or the interconnectedness is a much higher order reality than the material or the financial independency that we might be seeking for. Let us reflect on the essence of this highest knowledge, that we are all one and there are actually no others, as stated by some of our sages and seers. We are all one in this journey. Each one of us are crew on this planet, on this universe. Let all our interests converge into one of harmony, leading to peace within us and in the outside world. And let us know beyond doubt that we have the capability of making this universe a better place, both for ourselves and others. Let us be grateful for this roof on our head, built by laborers who have toiled hard to give us this shelter. Let us be grateful to the milkman and the vegetable vendor who delivers our daily needs at our doorstep. Let us be grateful for the farmers who bear the brunt of our collective actions and the results of the climate change and continue to toil for us to produce our food. Let us be grateful towards our cook, our maid, our gardener, our driver, who enable us to live in this comfort. Let us be grateful for the running water flowing in our taps, for the weavers and the farmers due to whom we have ample clothes to fill our wardrobes. Let us understand and experience this deep, subtle interconnectedness and be grateful for everything that we have. Ubuntu in its deepest form. Let us dwell over and experience this essence of the highest knowledge of interconnectedness. We are all one, and there are no others. Now let us take a few deep breaths. And feel this interconnectedness in every cell of our body. Everything in this cosmos holding together due to this unconditional love. Ahaituka Priti, Ahaituka Ananda. Unconditional love, unconditional bliss. Let us now collectively wish and pray for the well-being for self and all that exists on this earth, with all the beings, living, non-living. Let us chant the prayer, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. Keeping your eyes closed, you may join the palms. Om. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. Sarve Santu Niramaya. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You may gently rub your palms over each other. Generate enough warmthness. Keep your palms on your eyes, eye muscles. And give a nice massage to the facial region, neck region. And you may gently open your eyes. Thank you. With this practice of guided visualization meditation technique, now let's look at the science behind that. And I would request Ushanti to start her presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Vasant. Okay. All right. Today, it's all going to come together. It's also about connecting the dots. We've been learning discretely certain information, just like we're looking at things as slices of bread. Now, today, it's all come together and we're going to have the loaf of bread rather than slices of bread. Yes, the data exists outside. Data exists as discrete points. And then when it comes to our notice, our awareness, it becomes information. And that information, we have given that to you as knowledge. And you have to make that as knowledge when you understand that information. And today, by connecting the dots, you will be able to comprehend in totality as long as there is no resistance from you. And this knowledge, or from this knowledge, comes insight for each and every one of you from today. Sometimes you don't have to change anything. Yes, we have provided you with new tools, and there is no need to even use any new tools. If you just make a paradigm shift in the way you're looking at things, using the same tools, same techniques, deeply understanding and accepting the interconnectedness of beings and interconnectedness with nature and interconnectedness with non-beings too. It will come out as insights to you. Even then, it is not enough. We can only help you with this third part, with knowledge, but you have to make it as your own wisdom. And this can only happen when you put this into practice. Otherwise, it remains as intellectual data, intellectual information, at best intellectual knowledge and nothing else. And that neuroscientifically, we have shown just having knowledge is not going to be enough. This is what the neuroscientific explanation of knowledge has to be converted into wisdom. We keep saying just positive thoughts are not enough. Positive feelings are not enough. They have to be followed by positive actions. Otherwise, just remains as knowledge. This is the true crux of the mechanism of action of neuroplasticity. So far, we have not looked at it in this way, but the conversion of knowledge and wisdom can only be through neuroplasticity. So, as I said, we're going to connect the dots. Yes, I'm not speaking for myself and even for Vasant. We're grateful for this opportunity by Nisargopachara Kendra to be a part of this HHL course, because all of this was within us as data or as information. But to connect the dots and then to put it together, nothing can be created in vacuum. When there is an opportunity, it comes out in different ways. Different opportunities come out in different ways. So we are grateful for this opportunity, and let us all be grateful as Vasant guided us through the meditation. Let us all be grateful. And again, new neuroscience research shows that only when we are grateful can we be happy or happier. The conventional wisdom until recently showed if we are happy, we are grateful. No big deal. But the new research shows when we are grateful, we are happier and we are happy. So let us all practice to be grateful on a moment-to-moment basis. This is the neuroscience behind what we have seen with our grandparents and with many of the quote-unquote religious people. But the true science behind it is this. So based on all of this, this is my personal affirmation, and I'm trying to live with this and will do that until my last breath, which is, may every moment of my life and the life of others around me be one of wisdom, inner peace, and happiness, leading to love. Why all of this leading to love? Love can be an emotional feeling. That emotional feeling that we start off with, nobody has to teach us, just like nobody taught us to take that first breath when we were born. In the same way, nobody has to teach us what is love and how to love. But that would be at an emotional level. That emotional love with intellectual conviction becomes our emotional strength. So then that love becomes our strength. That is why wisdom, inner peace, and happiness needs to lead to love. So coming back again with this brief introduction, let us move on to the topic of today, the neuroscience and of meditation and neuroscience. Of course, we have seen this shloka umpteen times already in the past 2 days, Bandhuratma Atmanastasya Enatmaivatmana Jitaha Anatmanastu Shatrutve Vartetai Vartetatmaiva Shatruvatu. Our untrained mind is our enemy, and our trained mind is our friend, it says. And when we train our mind, how to become Jayaha, Mano Jayaha. Most of the times we have trained our mind using our willpower. Even the meditation that we did many times until now, maybe we have used mostly the willpower. But from today, it is going to change. With this viveka or the vivechana shakti or the discerning power or this knowledge of self from a scientific perspective, when we train our mind, it is going to, the quality of our mind is going to be very different. I can promise you that. So we need to be training our minds using both our willpower and our knowledge, the viveka, the discerning power. Then we will be able to win over our minds, what we call as Mano Jayaha. And that Mano Jaya can only happen in the present moment. Not after several hours of meditation, after several years when we retire, but here and now, now and here. Vasant has gone through this when he touched upon this aspect when he covered negativity bias. But this is so important. I'm going to reiterate that to tell you, we don't realize the only thing that we have is this present moment and nothing else. And not only do we have only the present moment, the only thing we need is this present moment and nothing else. Let me explain this from a neuroscientific perspective so that it will be convincing to you all and so that you will be able to accept it beyond doubt. See, whether we have seen this way or not, past and future are our mental constructs only. That means past and future exist only at the level of the mind. Don't take me wrong, I'm not talking from the level of, we have to learn from the past and we need to plan for the future. Absolutely, yes. But when it comes to the action part, when it comes to the doing part, we can only take actions. We can only do things in the present moment and not even in the next moment. Again, what do I mean by that? Here in the next few sentences, you got to pardon my English grammar. What do I mean by we cannot even do anything the next moment? Because the next moment, tomorrow or the next day or the next moment hasn't happened yet. When it is going to happen, it will be this moment. It will be now. Tomorrow hasn't happened. When tomorrow is going to happen, it will be today. Next moment hasn't happened. When the next moment happens, it will be the present moment. As simple as that. Extremely easy to understand at an intellectual level. But we need to practice this. That is why we keep saying, from a scientific perspective, mukti, freedom, salvation, what we call it as evolving, the evolution of human beings is only on a moment to moment to moment basis and nothing else. This is how what Vasant mentioned in the meditation instructions, this is beyond time, space, and causation. This is how we can go beyond time when we only focus on the present moment, here and now, now and here. So the training of mind and the conquering of mind can only happen in the present moment. Not only conquering of the mind, let us start practicing, training, Abhyasa. Everything is about Abhyasa, so says Bhagavad Gita. Let us start practicing to live on a moment to moment to moment basis. You start practicing that from today and see how much energy you have at the end of the day. You may be physically tired so you can sleep, but yet the energy levels, because you're only living on a moment-to-moment basis. This is how you can do anything and everything that you are capable of by living on a moment-to-moment basis. And how do we live on that moment-to-moment basis is what we're going to see now. So if I have to just on the next 2 slides summarize all of this, brain is hardwired to skip being in the present moment. And ants, automatic negative thoughts, prevent us to be in the present moment. We have seen this. So meditation is training the mind to be in the present moment. And how to be in the present moment, we will see. Why do we need to do all of this? We have some unwanted negative conditioning of the mind. Oh, this is the way it's supposed to be. This is how the people are supposed to be. This is how my loved ones, they cannot understand me. This is the way they're supposed to be. That's our old unwanted conditioning. That type of conditioning is preventing us to realize the innate potential that we already have within us. This whole thing, this session and the last 2 sessions we went through is about rewiring that belief system, which is hurting us, which is preventing us. Rewire to uplifting belief systems and rewiring our thoughts and feelings and rewiring the brain itself. And that can only happen through action. And those actions can only be in the present moment. We can only do in the present moment, here and now, now and here. And this is not a stage to reach. It is a journey. Journey until our last breath. This is so hopeful. Until now, we thought we will attend this and that, get this training, attend all these courses, and we will get to a stage. And here I am saying it is not a stage to reach, and then not to look at it in a negative way. but in the most positive and hopeful way. Yes, we need to be doing all of this, attending the courses, learning the tools, whatnot, to be lifelong learners, to develop that growth mindset, to develop that evolving mindset, so that the journey itself can become the destination, so that the path itself becomes the goal, so that we can enjoy each moment, every moment. As Vasant said, with that ahaituka ananda. In the technical terms, this is what is called Chidabhasa, the reflected consciousness, enjoying the reflected ananda, pratibimba ananda. Ahaituka pratibimba ananda experienced in Chidabhasa, which is the reflected consciousness. That's just a plug-in. We will come back to the scientific aspect. And we have a couple of videos. For the sake of time, we're going to finish the presentation and we will share the videos with you all at the end of the presentation. Right, Vasant? We can go ahead. What do you think? Or do we have time to show the videos, Vasant?
No, I think we will just go
Yeah.
ahead with the presentation and share the links, right?
Okay. So we're going to first get into the aspect of mindfulness. This is the standard definition that you're going to see on the internet that is given by John Kabat-Zinn. But we at Yogakshema, we have gone deeper and looked at mindfulness from 3 different angles. And the reason we have done that is so that it will help us to implement this on a moment-to-moment basis. All of this, again, that we need to be grateful for so many opportunities that Yogakshema has gotten for the past 15 years. We are able to come up with a deeper understanding of mindfulness and looked at it in a practical way as to implement it in our day-to-day lives. So if this is the classic internet definition of mindfulness, even that, it is going to be a little bit harder to completely comprehend. So I have made this in a very simple manner for us to understand and follow. I hope you're all seeing the title. All it says is Understanding Mindfulness from First View. So we have 3 views of mindfulness. Continuing with the first view of mindfulness, that this previous definition, we have simplified to say, all you need to do is to remember 3 things. Mindfulness is all about being in the present moment. So being in the present moment is important, and paying attention, concentrating, focusing. We need to be paying attention in this present moment. Very important. And how do we pay that attention? In a particular way. We will get to that, what particular way is. Again, when I say paying attention, both body and mind together in the same place at the same time. That is where the meditation instructions, the guided meditation techniques that Vasant is providing is truly helpful, because he keeps saying that breath, our breath is the bridge between this body and our mind. Even though we know this, at the time we want to use it, we forget it. But by practicing this mindfulness or meditation, whatever you want to call these meditation techniques, we need to be able to use this knowledge of breath is the bridge between body and mind on demand. So that during the tough times, when we need to be truly focused, all we need to do is to take 3 breaths and pay attention to those 3 breaths. Not even deep breath, even paying attention to the 3 breaths are enough for us to bring our focus back. I keep mentioning this to educators, whether a group of 30 or 3,000 for the past 10 years. This is what we need to be training our kids. How can they rely on their own tool, the breath, to be able to concentrate and focus? So if we can start off with this, with the breath, and with this kind of understanding of brain and mind, we don't need to be going through as adults the way we are going through in trying to understand the importance of interconnectedness and trying to implement this in our day-to-day lives on a moment-to-moment basis. Because I would like you to keep connecting everything today to interpersonal relationships. Ultimately, it is all about interpersonal relationships. And we're going to look at this from the most scientific angle. And we have been doing this for the past 2 days. So when push comes to shove, it is always our very close and loved ones, those who are really close to us, are the ones who hurt the most. At that time, use this breath as a tool so that you will ultimately come to a stage wherein all you need to do is to focus on one breath or that breath at that time and be able to switch. You don't need to do anything. Make a paradigm shift at the thought level without doing anything. When we change the way we look at things, the things we look at will change. And then you will be able to come out of that pain or suffering during that situation. So coming back, I said, being in the present moment, here and now and here, and paying attention, fully focused and concentrated in a particular way. What particular way? Being non-judgmental. What do I mean by non-judgmental? Different ways of looking at it, but I will take a simple example of a student. We have all done this. We still do this many times, saying that a student will be studying for a test or an exam, fully focused, but still thinking, I'm so glad this is the last time I have to be studying math. I'm going to switch to social sciences or psychology, so I don't need to be studying math. This is what I mean by judging. Projecting something about the future, about the present fear into the future and judging about it is, in this example, being judgmental. So when we study in a mindful way, this is again, I tell people, to the educators, to tell the kids, to train the kids, not just to focus or pay attention or concentrate, but to be mindful, because mindful is much more than dharana, which is concentration, which is present, being in the present moment, paying attention, and in a non-judgmental way. So this is one understanding of mindfulness, the first view. When we do this every moment, there is nothing else that we need to be thinking about. Excuse me. So let us look at mindfulness from the second perspective. We will take the questions after a certain stage. Either you can write the questions in the chat box. We would like to continue with the presentation without any break, because that flow of thought, both for me and for you, is very important. Anyway, the second view of mindfulness is, I think it's Einstein who said, you keep doing the same thing again and again and again, expect different results. It's called insanity. So we need to change the way we are looking at things, not just doing, even the way, start off with the way we are looking at things, because before doing the action, the precursor of an action is at the thought level. So we are really, really going to the root level, the thought level. So changing our perspective, what do I mean by that? Mindfulness is a way of seeing things, way of seeing people, way of seeing situations and circumstances as though you're seeing it for the very first time. In other words, another way of saying, this is the hardest definition and hardest thing to follow, I can tell you. This definition of mindfulness, hardest way to follow. So we have come up with different ways of understanding and for implementation purposes. This is the way we can understand in saying, you can't make the same mistake twice. The second time you make a mistake, it is no longer a mistake. It is a choice that you're making, or it's not even a choice that you're making. It has already become a habit. That's why I always say, we are humans, we're bound to make mistakes, but just keep making newer mistakes, not the same old mistake again and again and again. At least if we keep making newer mistakes, that means we have learned from the past mistakes. So we keep on learning. Just this is again not going to be enough. So let us go further and understand what this means. Changing the perspective. We are all familiar with this. Is the 6 or 9? Both, we say, right? Depends on which angle you take. I'm going to add one more thing to this dimension. And again, relate this to the difficult situation you have gone through, or the difficult person in your life, or the relationships in your life, and see what it means. Just because you are right does not mean I am wrong. We understand this. But the next one, you just haven't seen life from my side. When we are compassionate, we will be able to understand this. Again, with the negativity bias prevents us to be compassionate. So we understand the first part of the statement. Just because you're right doesn't mean I'm wrong. We can easily understand. But going a step further and saying, you many a times you cannot understand what I am, what I have gone through. This is another way of saying, we say, oh, no, oh, you have to be in somebody else's shoes to understand. Even that statement is very superficial, I will say. Because all the things that went through in that person's life to get to the stage to see why they are behaving the way they are behaving, why they are behaving the way they're behaving with their own loved ones, we will never be able to see and comprehend through these senses. We have to really go beyond understanding at a much, much deeper level about the interconnectedness of all beings and nature to be able to truly understand. You have not seen my life, seen life from my side. So it is not just being in somebody else's shoes. Much deeper than that. This is the whole crux of understanding interconnectedness at a much, much deeper level. That's why I always say we used to think when we were young, out many times even now, oh, being independent is the highest stage. I'm surprised many a times when I say in public talks, there is something higher than being independent. It is being interdependent. We have had deep discussions and heated discussions on this aspect. But if we can understand the true essence of interconnectedness of each and everything and beings, then and only then we will be able to accept, not just tolerate, but accept any relationship for that matter. And there are more stages than acceptance, and then we will go to that in a minute. If we can understand this, all the difficulties in interpersonal relationships will go away, I can assure you that. So, third way of looking at mindfulness. It is a way of seeing life as a unified whole. Even in this third, we have three different aspects. Actually, there are 5 ways of looking at mindfulness. You will see that. We have to see life as a unified whole and knowing that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And there is no divide between things we have to do and things we want to do. But we always have this divide. I would like to be doing these things, but I have to be doing other things because of either my duty or this is what I need to be doing at this time. So we have a clear-cut divide between what we have to do and what we want to do. That divide between what we want to do and what we have to do has to go away. And lastly, mindfulness is a way of facing the reality. Again, looking at in a different way. The first one, way of seeing life as a unified whole. No compartmentalization. Again, no divide between what we have to do, what we want to do. We don't need to be separating what is secular, what is sacred. I have to do this. I want to be doing that. Let there be no difference and face the reality and seeing the reality as it is, not just tolerating the reality. Again, coming back to interpersonal relationships, not just tolerating relationships, not just accepting the relationship, embracing the relationship, and finally to be grateful for that difficult situation, to be grateful for that difficult person in our lives, because then, and only then, it has given us an opportunity to evolve at a much, much, much deeper level. If we can truly comprehend, that is the first stage, without any doubt, with intellectual conviction, let that happen today. And the rest of the lives, we're going to put this into action. This third one is quite intense. Now I want to bring levity into this third way of looking at mindfulness. Is we're so used to saying, if something new comes up on our table, a new deadline, or something else that we have to do, what? One more thing to do? One more difficult person in my life? Is what we feel, right? And we keep asking ourselves, why me? Why does this happen to me? So, with levity, I'm going to show you the next few slides, and then hopefully you'll be able to appreciate as much as I loved putting this together. So instead of saying, what? We change it to, so what? That is fine. I can do it. And then again, why me? To, why not me? And then I go a step further. Not just why not me, I say try me. Various opportunities, try me, because I know I have the cerebral capability, cerebral capacity to handle anything and everything under the roof. That is what it reminds me of Swami Vivekananda's statement saying that you can do anything and everything. Not only can we do, what he meant by doing is also being, not just doing. So if we just keep doing whatever needs to be done, we can be anything and everything. That is the deeper understanding of Swami Vivekananda's statement when he says, you can do anything and everything. We keep focusing on the doing part. Truly what he means by doing whatever we are supposed to do, just doing it, doing the right thing each time and every time, not just doing things right, that is at a superficial level, but doing the right thing each time and every time. We can be anything and everything what we want to be. That is how we move from human doing to becoming human being. So, with that three ways of looking at mindfulness, we're going to now go into meditation itself. So for all practical purposes, mindfulness is also nothing but meditation. But only now scientifically we have been using the term mindfulness, which we have in our culture, in our scriptures, we have been using the word meditation. From my perspective, it is one and the same. For all practical purposes, we have used it synonymously. But still now, much broader sense, let us see what meditation is all about. What is meditation? We at Yogakshema has come up with this definition of meditation And if we just follow this, of course, there are different types of meditation which we will be able to go through. But the foundation for all of that, if we can use this definition, neuroscience definition of meditation, it truly helps in our implementation for practical purposes. Meditation is a conscious, purposeful, and fully self-directed process to overcome mental automatism. We will keep going deeper into this, but let's go and look at meditation from different angles. And if that is the case, then meditation also means awareness. And whatever we do with awareness can be meditation. It is not just sitting cross-legged for half hour, for 1 hour, either early in the morning or at certain specified times as it has been prescribed in our scriptures. Sandhikala, they say, Brahmi Murta, and then in the evening, in the morning, and in the afternoon. These are the prescriptive times that they have given. But we can expand that now to whatever we do can be a meditative experience. If we are fully focused, and if we are not doing in a mechanical way, automatic way, it becomes meditation, one-pointedness. So watching our breath can become meditation. Walking, every day our walks can be meditation. Listening to the birds can be meditation. Cutting vegetables can be a meditative process. Cooking can be a meditative process. Cleaning can be a meditative process. Reading scriptures can be a meditative process. Reading for exams can be a meditative process. Whatever we do can be a meditative process. This is how our rishis, our munis, our sages and saints were leading a life of meditation. We don't have to be saints wearing orange ochre robes, but all of us can lead that sage or saintly life, doing whatever we are doing, wearing whatever we are wearing, but being like they were. So as long as these activities, whatever we do, are free from distraction to the mind, it is effective meditation, goes without saying, right? And meditation, if you look at it from the scriptural perspective, it is a stage in the spiritual path, and it is not an independent discipline itself. It is the 7th stage in the Ashtanga Yoga, or the 3rd stage, second or the 3rd stage in the Jnana Yoga path. So anyway, that is about what is meditation. And let's look into the purpose of meditation before we go into what is not meditation. Purpose of meditation can be whatever you want it to be. Because this is a course on well-being, health and well-being, we're going to start off with that. It can be a physical and psychological. Benefits are either the byproduct of meditation or the aim itself. It is not a substitute for medicine, but it can be used as medicine. There is a fine line between the two things that I just said. It can be used as medicine, but it is not a substitute for medicine. In other words, certain times for certain mental illnesses, if medicine is the way to go, we have to go with that. many times, many people do not need certain of the psychiatric medicines, maybe for low-grade anxiety, subclinical depression, mild to moderate depression. All of that can be treated without medicine. And at that time, meditation can be used as medicine, but not as a substitute as such. In other words, we cannot decide if somebody is asked to take certain medicines. Now, meditation can be used as medication. So I'm not going to take the medicine and only do meditation. We cannot be choosing that way, is what I mean by that. Purpose of meditation also helps in understanding this mind of ours. When we look at what happens in our mind in an objective manner, and it also helps in chitta shuddhi or purification of mind. It is ultimately, it is about understanding ourselves, self-knowledge and self-discovery of oneself. More importantly, all of this can only happen in the now, in the present moment. So the purpose of meditation is to be in the now, which is all encompassing, and other purposes, as we have said. Meditation, concentration and awareness. Concentration is one-pointedness. Another Sanskrit word for that is dharana. It is forcing the mind to stay on one point by sheer unrelenting willpower. Yes, initially the one has to force the mind. Later it becomes a habit for a person who is doing the meditation. And concentration, even though it is one step lower than dhyana or meditation, many times for all practical purposes, it is also synonymously used, but we need to be careful. So concentration is done only by using the willpower. And it can either be wholesome or unwholesome, in the sense, I'll just touch upon this and move on, because it can be unwholesome, because when we look at people who are terrorists, they have such concentrated minds, such great willpower, that they can do anything and everything that they think of doing. That's why I always say there is always something to learn from everybody, even from terrorists for that matter. How can they have that one-pointedness? That kind of willpower is what we need to understand. It is the contents of that concentration, contents of that one-pointedness, which has to be different, and which that wholesome and unwholesome goes back to the intent of that concentration power. So it can be regarded as a tool that gives us power. Then what is not meditation? Let's look into what is not meditation. Meditation is not just merely concentration. It is much more than that. Meditation is not merely relaxation. Even though meditation can be used for improving concentration, it can be used for more relaxation. It is not merely that. And meditation is not just a serious religious practice. It can be used for relaxation too. So, and much more. So meditation is not just concentration, not just merely relaxation or not just a religious practice. And it is not even just a state of mind that we need to achieve. That is what I keep on saying. It is not a stage to reach. Training of mind is not a stage to reach. And meditation is not merely inner silence. Then what is it, right? Vasant, do we have time to take some questions, or should we move on? And then for the lack of time, you be the judge and then let me know what we should do.
Maybe we can take the questions at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the flow goes through, and then please keep writing the questions either in the chat box or in your book. And then at least I can stay, and I'm hoping Vasant can stay back. Even if there is just a single person to ask questions, we will stay back and answer the questions for you also. Anyway, let us look at this from a different perspective now. We are going deeper into the scientific aspect of meditation. We're all born with certain specific set of physical characteristics, whatever physical characteristics, okay? And we try to change some of these parameters through our changing our nutrition or by exercising. When we see the kids being not as tall, we make them do whatever, swimming, running, to change their physical characteristics or give more protein to help them grow, right? This is a no-brainer. We understand this. And this is how we build muscles. A trainer, somebody building, the person who builds muscles, a trainer for that matter, he takes special food because that is what is needed for building up of muscles. Special protein is needed. And for endurance, we keep practicing our exercises, smaller doses, but with consistency for many, many number of days is how we can build endurance, as we know. And to increase our flexibility, we do yoga, we do exercises to increase our flexibility. This is how we change our body. This is a no-brainer. We know all of this. But this is the same thing for our brain. Most of the times, our attention is at the gross level, at the sthula sharira level. So we understand we take care of this body. Can we take care of this mind, the sukshma sharira, in the same way? This is the reason. So it's the same thing for the brain. We change the brain by proper feeding through our thoughts and feelings. But before that, we need to be able to change the belief system that it is possible to change the brain. So everything again starts from belief system. And we can also change our brain through building new neural pathways and networks, by working out our brain, by boosting our concentration, by increasing not just physical flexibility through yoga, but also our cognitive flexibility. And we can increase our intelligence, and we can rewire the brain. And this is how we change our brain. This can be done through neuroplasticity, as we've already gone through. I'm not going to go into this at all, just touch upon it to show how do we change our brain. And why do we have to change our brain? If we change our brain, then our whole life itself changes. So we have gone through how, in an anecdotal way, Dalai Lama challenged the Western neuroscientists, saying that something that is intangible, like mind, If we change this mind that we cannot see in a particular way, in a deliberate way, in a willful way, in a conscious way, if we change this mind of ours, something that is tangible like brain can be changed. This is extremely crucial, both from the scientific perspective and from the spiritual perspective. See, no matter how much I say, keep meditating on this gizmo here because it is so useful for me. I want to become this. Is it possible? Absolutely not. However, something that is intangible like our mind can make changes either in a positive way or in a negative way by bringing about structural and functional changes in the brain. Imagine how many of the terrorists, how they would have trained their minds to have that kind of one-pointedness to be able to do whatever havoc that they do. If only they change the contents or the intent behind that, such terrorists can become great leaders of a society. Anything can happen. And this is our hope, wish, and prayer. By understanding this, others, we need to develop that kind of training that terrorists do, because our intent is pure. Because of the purity of purpose and purity of intent, we can go ahead to be doing great things in this life. And we wish, hope, and pray that people who have such harmful, dreadful intent as terrorists will be able to just make a paradigm shift in their contents of the intent. If they change the intent, they can do wonders for humanity itself. So by changing our mind, we can change our brain, which helps in changing our life. So if we just changing mind is not going to be enough, because changing our mind will result in changes in the structure and function of the brain, but it's only temporary. That is what we have been doing all along. And in a few weeks, we're going to have a new year, and whoever goes through the new year resolutions, we know how long that is going to last until now. But for long-lasting changes in the structure and function of the brain to happen, and so as to change our life itself, changing our mind should result in change in our experience, life experience. Changing our mind, thinking positively about that difficult person is not going to be enough. It has to change in our behavior towards that person, changing in with our habits towards that person. Then, only then can long-lasting changes in the structure and function of the brain can happen, leading true transformation of our lives. Not just changing our life, we really need transformation. So this becomes a transformative journey. So when that happens, when we try and do this over a period of time, this is where I picked up from one of the monks of Ramakrishna order, where he compares an untrained mind to a monkey mind. And that has to be converted to a monk's mind. Instead of going through that whole picture, this is very simply put. Normally, mind is like a restless monkey's mind, an untrained mind. And if that mind, an untrained mind, is in stress, that monkey's mind behaves like a drunken monkey. And if an untrained mind is in crisis, it is like that monkey mind, which is drunk and bitten by a scorpion. Imagine that. That is how an untrained mind is. So we need to be training our mind to be in the present moment, to embrace each and every person without any differentiation based on religion, based on socio-economic educational background. Then it becomes a monk's mind. Again, I want to reiterate here and remind you, saying there is nothing like a trained mind. It is always a mind in training. So all of these tools and knowledge that you're gaining, don't expect a certain stage to reach and then you can relax. Or you're going to be like that for the rest of your life. Absolutely not. Such a hopeful thing that there is nothing like a trained mind. It is always a mind in training, which means we need to be training our minds until our last breath. Even if we are bedridden, even if we cannot move a finger, it really doesn't matter. We can still be training our mind to be all loving, all forgiving, and trying to be blissful. So the next two slides I'm going to zip through because there is no point in going deeper into this, because the data that we have collected, and then this is available on the internet. Each one is based on many of the research studies, and then we have put together many different research studies in the form of a table, and this keeps on changing depending on the type of meditation. Basically, the stress chemicals, if I may, will reduce with meditation, whereas happy chemicals, if I may, will increase with meditation. If you just broadly understand this, this is enough. And this is the same way, it's the same way if I put it, neurochemical changes during meditation, and the same way with EEG changes. This table only shows the type of EEG waves, gamma, beta, alpha, theta waves. Again, this is not based on any meditation. This is just normal mental state, how it is. The characteristic of each of those EEG waves, depending on the type of meditation, depending on how long, you can get many different variations of how the characteristic of the wave itself can change. And we can actually choose to be doing certain types of meditation to have certain, if we are looking for certain traits to change within ourselves. So this table is meant just for that. This has an academic interest and we don't need to go deeper into that. But this is the table that we need. This is where we have compiled many different studies that exist and put forth different types of meditation techniques, like there could be mindful breathing, simple mindful breathing, which we can focus on the breath and which helps to stay in the present moment. It reduces stress and anxiety in us. Whereas meditation, like repeating a mantra, we can develop focus and concentration. Or it could be meditation, repeating a mantra, which is auditory, or be focused on, it could even be a jyoti meditation. Some people look at the deepa or jyoti and then focus. Could be anything, auditory or visual. It can help develop focus and concentration, and it is also helped in reducing BP, IBS, inflammatory bowel syndrome, reducing anxiety, insomnia, sleeplessness, and depression. Body scan meditation, which we were not able to go through, and maybe if people need, you can request, and then we have, I think most of this, I think 3 or 4 of this, we have guided meditation audio links. If there is a need, we can share. Yogakshema has cut studio quality audio link guided meditation in all of this. So I'm just going to go through theoretically. And in that, we have both an introduction, scientific introduction, how it helps, and and also part of the conclusion, where all that type of meditation can be used, giving certain references to where it has been used, including NIH. Anyway, body scan meditation, focusing attention on different parts of the body as you go along. This is a passive observation technique. It helps in post-traumatic stress disorder, and also in stress itself, and to be mental well-being. Visual meditation, which is what you went through today. This is again customized by Yogakshema, specifically for a certain purpose, what you went through today, visual meditation, especially to hone in on the aspect of understanding and accepting the interconnectedness of beings. And we even included gratitude and loving kindness meditation in this for the first time. Vasant was able to combine all the 3 together. And this is a sensory journey to a mentally created picture. Mind you, this is extremely powerful, because I just want to add in a neuroscience perspective to this, because only humans have the capability to imagine with the eyes closed and keep that picture for a length of time. No animal, as we know of, as scientifically, can do this. Imagine something that doesn't exist. That is why only people are able to create new things. Extremely important neuroscientific information. And this is powerful mind-body tool, and we can use as many senses as possible. That is why he was also saying, Vasant, or said in the beginning, feel intensely, visualize, let the image be as sharp as possible, and put your feelings through this. And then it helps in stress, anxiety, hypertension, sleeplessness, and also managing pain, or increasing the threshold of pain. So helps to relieve pain. The last one is progressive muscle relaxation, which deliberately tightening and relaxing each muscle group as we move the focus on from one group of muscle to another group. And it is very similar to body scan, wherein there it is a passive observation. Here we tense the muscles and relax. That is PMR technique. it truly helps in fatigue and sleep quality. Many of these techniques, as Vasant mentioned already, has been used by NIH, especially as part of body-mind medicine or behavior medicine itself. And because yesterday, I think it is, I forget who it is.
Madhuben. Madhuben had asked.
Madhuben, yeah. As how do we choose the type of meditation? So we need to consider many different factors. What is your need? Is it to relax or to de-stress, to focus and concentrate, or to forgive, to be more loving? Depending on the need. Now, this is the beauty of it. The science now has provided a plethora of various different techniques. We can pick and choose, just like on a smorgasbord, we can pick and choose different meditation techniques depending on our need. And also, our need might differ from one stage to another in the same person too. So now, being aware that there are many different types of techniques you can choose. And if there is anything in particular, there is a need, we have also customized either individually or for groups, depending on the case. No. So that can also be done through Yogakshema. We can do that. We have done it before. And depending on the state of mind, we need to choose. We can choose either singing or walking or gardening as a type of meditation when we are focusing at the level of body, at the gross level, Sthula Sharira level, as opposed to Sukshma Sharira level, the subtle meditation, wherein we can be focusing on the breath or body sensations, or even at a cognitive level, asking this question, who am I? This is one of the favorite questions that Ramana used to say, ask yourself, Nanyar. Nanyar means, who am I? Who am I? If you keep asking this, as Chitta Shuddhi happens, we will be able to figure out who we truly are, this true nature of ours, the real nature of ours, we will be able to figure out, is what he says. But that Chitta Shuddhi has to happen to truly understand, to get answers just through meditatively, who am I? And it also is based on your belief, based on your faith, or based on your religious background, one can choose. The needs of a person, as I said, it can change from time to time. But before I conclude, I want to just define meditation as we at Yogakshema has defined, which makes it easy, very broad a way of defining, which encompasses everything, whatever we have spoken until now, it can encompass, which is meditation is a conscious, purposeful, and fully directed process to overcome mental automatism. So ultimately, meditation helps us to be in the now. That is the purpose of meditation, because now is the only thing we have, whether we know it or not. And now is only what we need. So what does the slide say? It is the yardstick. What are the yardstick when we go through this meditation? Our self-awareness is increased, heightened self-awareness, not just at the level of the body, but also at a subtler level. Why we are the way we are, not what type of emotions and feelings we are getting, the type of thoughts, and how we need to change. This is the basic of cognitive behavior training or cognitive behavior therapy we talked about. And we move from reactive mode to proactive mode, or from reactive mode to response mode to be reflective, either one. And mental So the yardstick is we move away from mental automatism to taking deliberate, conscious, and willful ways of taking decisions or making decisions. And the another yardstick is there will be a shift in our worldview itself. As I keep saying, rather than looking at the worldview from binary format, zeros and ones, right or wrong, black and white, or black or white, we move away from that, having a worldview of many, many possibilities. So this world is not black and white, but all shades of gray in between is what we will be able to understand and put it into action in our day-to-day things. And ultimately, it ends suffering. And for me, that is not just the ultimate. When the suffering ends, again, it's not even a yardstick. The Chitta Shuddhi happens, and automatically we don't have to do anything. That what the term that Vasant used, ahaituka ananda, or the pratibimba ananda, reflected happiness ensues. And our interconnectedness, interpersonal relationships will become meaningful and functional and purposeful. For all of this, a common thing to remember is that FIR. F standing for frequency of reacting mode or being on an autopilot mode, or going into the binary format of looking at the worldview, that frequency will reduce. I stands for intensity. If we lose our cool, whichever type of emotions, that intensity of the emotions can be reduced, especially the negative ones. I tell you, even if these two in the beginning, if it does not get reduced, not to worry. Try and focus on the R, the recovery time or the recovery period, irrespective of the frequency or the intensity of our emotional outbursts. The recovery period is really, really quick. You have achieved. Ultimately, all the three will reduce. First, work on the recovery time. That is what will help on the frequency and the intensity. That's the ultimate yardstick. So, again, just to conclude, our mind goes back and forth, an untrained mind, mind you, between past and future. A trained mind also goes back and forth between past and future, but it will be learning from the past and planning for the future in the most positive way or neutral way. So it's all about training ourselves to be in the present moment, here and now, now and here. And to come out of the mental automatism is the purpose of meditation, is the definition of meditation as given by Yogakshema. And that being in the present moment, here and now, now and here, is what we have and all what we need. And the saying goes, those who look outside dreams, and those who look inside awakes. And that can only happen in the present moment. Before I sign off, I just want to share a personal poem that I have written to my guru, a very short poem. I think this poem will encompass everything what we have covered in the last 2 days. The title of the poem is An Ode to My Guru. My guru's medicine for all problems of humans. My guru's medicine for all the problems of humans is love and harmony. A skeptic asked my guru, what if it doesn't work? And my guru smiled in a gentle, kind, compassionate, and loving manner and said, increase the dosage. We started off with the visual meditation tool, and we ended with an auditory come visual. You can also make it as a visual too, an auditory meditation poem for us all. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Usha ma'am and Vasanji. If we can extend this session to 5 to 10 more minutes, we can take few questions from our participants.
Certainly.
Is it fine with both of you, ma'am?
Absolutely.
Yes, certainly. We can stay back even longer if there is a need.
Right.
I think Pinky Ben had asked the very first question after the meditation.
Yes.
Pinky Ben, you may want to unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah, namaste. Thank you for this session. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So my question was, I had put it in the chat box also, but my question is like, we have been talking about oneness. I've been hearing about it from many people, and we talked about in the presentation also. But we also talked about, we are inclined towards negative biases, and so there are negative and positive biases. And we talked about also that difficult situations and difficult people help us evolve. So I understand there are difficult people and there are good people also. So deep down, I feel that there is a duality: good, bad, positive, negatives. So in this duality, how do I bring, or how do I see this oneness is like very difficult for me to understand this concept of oneness. That's it.
Sure. Thanks, Pinky Ben. That's a really very deep and profound question. Yes, at one level, we talk about good and bad, and at other level, we also talk about oneness and saying that we are all one. I'll just give you my response to it, and I'm sure Usha Aunty will have a more detailed and elaborate response, and also a more practical one. We tend to look at the world more in terms of, typically more in the binary, in terms of good versus bad. But in several ways, if we really objectively analyze and look at our own life, we are all moving from lesser truth to higher truth to higher truth. We are all moving from being good to better to still being better, and so on. And what we are talking about, we are all one. Ultimately, we are all single. We are all one. And that's the ultimate reality that the sages and seers have spoken about. Think that we are all interconnected. Every action of ours has a consequence all over the globe. Just like Albert Einstein had said, if an electron vibrates in one corner of the globe, you can see its effect somewhere else, or the butterfly effect, what's popularly called in the field of quantum mechanics. That's at a very, very subtle and subtlest level where that is being said as we are all one. But in more practical terms, in the tangible and the Vyavaharika terms, I would say that we are all moving from lesser truth to higher truth to a more higher truth, and so on. And the ultimate truth is we are all one. That's something we can, at this stage, I would say, cognitively extrapolate and connect that. Experiencing this is a journey throughout the life. That's how I look at these two aspects between duality and non-duality. Auntie, over to you.
Yeah, a really deep question, Pinky. I think whatever Vasant said, that answer should suffice right now. But if you're going to be interested in at a deeper level, then this is what I would suggest rather than going through it right now. Last 3 days, just before this, I mean 17th, 18th, 19th, I've given a talk at Uniqueness on practical Vedanta, wherein I've taken examples both scientifically and from the scriptures, Advaita Vedantic concepts and knowledge, gone deep into that. And there is a link for that. I don't have, we should be able to provide you with that. You can go through that, and then we can come back and then take the questions. If there is an opportunity, we can check with Ravish later. And another thing is next month, again here in Baroda itself, I will be covering Viveka Chudamani for daily living through Ramakrishna Ashram. A 3-day series workshop on Viveka Chudamani for daily living. Again, I'll be going through in greater depth the answer to the question that you asked, rather than just giving just simply, this question is so deep, we can hold on to that for one more month, and then the link to the practical Vedanta, which happened at Yogniketan here in Baroda, and the future workshop that's going to happen next month, as a matter of fact, in Baroda, will answer. Then we can have deeper discussion based on that. That we will know in a day or two. The dates are being fixed, Parul. I see the question, what days? Between 16th and let us say 30th, because those are the 2 weeks that I'm here in Baroda. As we speak, the dates are being fixed. And I will, most likely, I will know either today or tomorrow. We will share that with you. I will share it with Ravish Bhai. And
Thank you so much.
Parul,
Thank you, Usha Didi. We would definitely like to be part of the process in Baroda in that workshop. So, yeah, please keep informed. My question is, I just wanted little more or little deeper understanding about that that slide where you took from starting from data to information to knowledge to like wisdom and insight. In that slide, I want little more deeper understanding for myself. So if you can,
yeah, sure. I'll make it even simpler. See, everything what we have heard these past 3 days, right? It existed on the net or on the book elsewhere. That's data. We have not seen it, let us say. That is just data points. That is there. But when we look at it, it becomes information for us. Otherwise, it was just plain data. It did not matter to us. Now we are focusing on that. It becomes information. And that information, now we may not be able to understand all the information. The information still exists as part of data. And that information becomes knowledge once we understand, comprehend. And that is what has happened in the past 3 days. Third slide. Until there, we can help. But the next 2 stage is entirely yours. That is why all this knowledge is so empowering, because no amount of reading, listening will help us. It will only get to the level of knowledge. It will only make temporary changes in our lives. But for this knowledge to make long-lasting changes in our lives, that is why we are here to learn new things, then it has to become wisdom. That means only when we put it into practice does it become wisdom. This is what we have been saying. Just thinking positively is not enough. Those positive thoughts need to be followed by positive feelings. Feelings stay much longer. Many a times it's only at the thought level we think positively, it goes away. Then we have to feel it. Feelings are the fuel for any action. If we don't feel it, we won't be able to put it into action. I can assure you that. That is why even in the instructions, guided meditation instructions, Vasant gave feel intensely. Just positive thinking, positive feelings are not going to be enough. They both have to be followed by positive actions, positive experiences, positive habits, positive behavior. Then, only then does it become wisdom. Thanks for that. Hopefully, it is clearer now. Otherwise, you can go back to the recording, and then sometimes we have to reflect. Otherwise, just repeating is not going to help. But that is also very important, repeating. This is what it says in our scriptures, Jnana Yoga has only 3 steps. In the yogic way, 8 steps, Ashtanga Yoga, 8 steps, starting from Yama, Niyama, right? Whereas Jnana Yoga has only 3 steps. One is Shravana, hearing, again and again, repetition. And then Manana, reflecting on it. And Nididhyasana, meditating on it and then putting into practice. 3 steps. So what we're doing is listening, and we need to do this again and again. Both for you and for us, when we repeat it again and again, we come up with newer ways of presenting the same neuroscience concepts. Nothing will change. But we will come up with newer ways of putting the neuroscience concepts or the scriptural knowledge in different ways to suit the audience to be able to comprehend. That is why we customize. The slides are the same, but how we say it will vary from one group to another. And the heterogeneous group, it will be different. If it is done for students, it will be different. Maybe the same slide. So that repetition is needed, is what I'm trying to say. And the last step is yours. And that is what is empowering.
Yes, Usha ma'am, wonderfully explained.
Yeah.
We have 2 more hand raises. Vedanti Dave.
Very good morning, ma'am and sir. Today's lecture was really amazing because I love the part where you said that make newer mistakes every day, because that was like, that gave me a different shift of, worldview. Because I'm still studying, and we see a lot of mistakes being made again and again. My question was, and I've been struggling with this since a long time, because there is a huge gap between the input of knowledge that we have these days in terms of both spiritual knowledge and knowledge about mental well-being, emotional well-being, meditation, etc., and then actually practicing it. So it happens like we have a buffet of different ways in which we can practice meditation, but while we are learning about it theoretically, it becomes difficult to incorporate every single practice in your life. My question was that what is your suggestion that we learn one practice and consistently repeat that over a period of time, or we include all of that together? How do we go about it?
Yeah. Even before that, I will add one more thing here, Vedanti. This is common for all of us. This is how we start. And especially at this young age, you are getting this exposure. You're so lucky. And there are opportunities like this. It will happen because of that deep yearning. But before even putting into practice, there should not be any dissonance, cognitive dissonance, in the sense we are learning one thing, saying one thing, doing another thing. Even if we cannot do, it is okay. We cannot, in the sense we are trying on that path to be doing, but consciously doing something else is different than changing what we are doing. In other words, there has to be intellectual conviction. This is the way. Many a times people don't do it because there is no conviction. When there is no intellectual conviction, then they tend to do things that they're not supposed to be doing. That is what we call it as cognitive dissonance. But for anybody and everybody, it's a process. So again, as you rightly said, take one tool at a time. Take for a certain time, use that tool. And then for humans, just having one tool is not enough. If we keep eating khichdi every day, will we still enjoy? And not even enjoy? And can we get all the nutrition from just khichdi? No. So take one tool, master it, however long it takes. It could be 1 week, 1 month, whatever, not years together. Try to, if not mastered, get used to the technique so it becomes a habit, then go to another tool. Then there won't be any stagnation. Otherwise, what happens is when we get used to that tool, it becomes mechanical. Even meditation becomes mechanical. Doing japa becomes mechanical. And when it becomes mechanical, then it is not a conscious activity anymore. And we even, depending on the time, depending on how tired we are before we start the meditation, or if we are forced to get up early, then we might even fall into fall into a sleeping state of mind without our knowledge. And that becomes habit, especially with meditation. You have to be so aware. Even if you cannot do for half hour, it doesn't matter. Don't get into the habit of falling asleep. It is tough to come out of that. Keep only 5 minutes at a time. Increase the time. And if you feel like falling asleep, right away get up. Go wash your face. Drink cold water. Wash your face with cold water. Come back and sit for the next. Even in 5 minutes, it might happen for somebody, anybody for that matter, if we are physically tired. Because we want to make it as a habit, we want to sit and meditate, what we call it as, even before we meditate, asana siddhi has to happen. I'm just taking meditation as an example now because that is the topic. Asana siddhi has to happen. So for that, even if we are tired, we are forced to, this is the instructions that will be given when we go really deep. And so we sit. And then if we are really tired, we tend to fall asleep. That is when we have to be aware and get up and do anything that is possible to stop that sleep. So rotating tools and knowing what tool helps, again, is very important. Sometimes even certain things done mechanically is very useful. Something as simple as japa. And it can be done mechanically, even if it cannot be done in a conscious manner. While doing chores, cutting vegetables, cleaning, whatever, then the japa can go on in a mechanical way. Even if it goes on in a mechanical way, it is okay. But everything, again, I'm glad you asked such practical question, because going deeper and deeper and deeper, being a scientist, this is all I can do is to think from the perspective of knowledge. I always say, Vedanti, at your age, if you hear this is going to be very helpful. We get attracted to the bhakti yoga, listening to or doing bhajans, extremely important. I do all of that, but I can tell you, nobody can teach you bhakti. It is innate. That bhakti has to become purer. How can the bhakti become pure? Only through knowledge. This we don't understand. So it has to be that jnana mishtrita bhakti. And I'm not talking from spiritual perspective. I will use the different terminology for a student. What is bhakti? Love for learning. Become a passionate learner. That is bhakti for a student. And how to be that? This kind of what the questions that you asked, question based on knowledge, you put that into practice, and that is where it becomes jnana mishrita bhakti, or love for learning with the right type of knowledge is what it is. This is where there is no difference between secular and sacred. No compartmentalization. We have to get to that stage. Even when we use different terminologies, we should be able to go back and forth. How do we use this in this materialistic world, and how do we use this in spiritual world? Until and unless it becomes so natural, organic, we have to keep trying. Great question, Vedanti. See, even for me, because all of this is inside, I would not have thought about it like this. That is why I know I can say this even for Vasant. We're so grateful for these opportunities, because whatever that is deep inside comes out and makes us feel good. Yes, we have understood whatever we are saying, especially with these ad hoc questions.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It helped a lot, because at this age it's difficult when everyone has a different say. Like everyone around you, be it your family, be it your friends, would tell you that, okay, this is the right path, this is the right path. And you get so frustrated with that because you can't choose a path for yourself. And that's where I think what you explained would, I guess, help me, that while learning, I'll figure it out on my own. It might take some time, but I will. Thank you.
We have all the time until the last breath, Vedanti. Don't worry about that time. Be with the right company. It makes it easier and it makes it joyous.
Thank you.
Bharti Ben, we have already overshoot the time, so I would request you to keep your question to the point and ask and put your question, please.
Okay, I just thought.
Bharti Ben, you have been muted. Please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Okay. Actually, I just wanted to ask, because I want to ask so many things about our own branch and connectivity with Yogakshema. We do certain researches and all there at Gotri also, you people do it and all. And there are some limitations of diseases that is physics with the mental this thing. For example, DMD patients and all. So if I can ask.
Yeah, Bharti, if I may
Yeah,
stop,
when-
this is not the right
wait.
forum, Bharti.
Yeah. That is why this is out
Yeah.
of this thing.
Yeah,
but I
please.
just thought, when do I connect with you so that I can ask those questions,
You can,
which are very important. Yeah.
you have, Vasant has given the number, his number.
Yeah.
Right now, no, I'm in a different thing. You can write an email, Vasant, if you can give your email or Yogakshema's email. You're talking about Yogakshema now. Vasant will take over those Yogakshema related questions. Please be in touch with Vasant, Bharti.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Parul,
Wonderful
you
lecture.
have again raised your hand. You want to ask anything specific?
No.
Yeah,
Bharti, I'm not saying to you, I'm asking Parul.
Yeah, actually, in response to Vedanta's question, you mentioned, Usha Didi, that you can do japa mechanical. I mean, other things you cannot do, but japa is something you can do mechanically. Can you explain me? I mean, I've heard it from you earlier, but I don't understand the logic, and it would be really great to understand it.
Sure.
And what job you can suggest? I mean, that is something that I want.
It's not that you can do japa mechanically. What I'm saying is japa also has to be done in a conscious manner. That is the only way. But it just becomes mechanical because we will be just repeating the mantra and doing other things and whatnot when it becomes a habit. When it becomes a habit, it is mechanical. That's all. Not that I'm asking you to do mechanically. It just happens. But for the japa to be effective, it has to be done in a conscious manner. Meditation is nothing but japa taken over for a longer period. If you one type of meditation, you might say. But whether it is japa or meditation, it is a conscious process. Otherwise, for long-lasting changes for the brain to happen and for our changes in life to happen, it has to be in a conscious way. Anything for that matter. No? And conscious also means not just repeating the mantra in a conscious way, trying to understand the meaning of mantra. If we don't understand the meaning and if we do it in a conscious manner, I call that after a certain stage, even that is mechanical. That is the first stage. But until and unless we go deeper in understanding, anything can be mechanical, including bhajans. Yes, we might be feeling, but if we really do not understand the meaning of each and every word of that bhajan, it's as good as being mechanical. Ultimately, being a scientist and follower of my guru, any guru has to take anybody, has to give that ultimate Advaitic knowledge. Then only he is said to be a guru. Advaitic knowledge is nothing but not from the knowledge perspective. And bhakti, as I said, is innate. It is within each and everybody. It is not a separate path. Bhakti is the foundation. And there are two paths, karma yoga and jnana yoga. You cannot even choose one over the other. It is like choosing wearing a shirt as opposed to pair of pants. We cannot. We have to do karma yoga in order to qualify for jnana yoga. But bhakti is the foundation. If you look at it that way, then everything is about knowledge, because ultimately we don't have to do anything. We just have to know who we truly are. We don't even have to become. We have to be who we truly are. That is why I truly say there is a reason why we are called human beings. We have to evolve to be human beings. We are now human doings.
Yes.
So a japa has to be given by gurus, but without having a guru, we can choose certain japas. And before I was initiated, had a guru, I used to use Panchakshari mantra on Shiva, or which is Om Namah Shivaya. Anybody can use this. This is what has been said in scriptures. Or no, for people who are more bent towards bhakti, they can also use Om Namo Vasudevaya. And you can do either one or both. I have done both before having been given a mantra. This is what, and just taking that mantra and then you not knowing how to use none of that, trying it on my own, it helped me so much. It made me look for a right way of getting the mantra from a guru.
Thank you so much. It's very useful.
Thank you.
Harshita ji.
Good morning, Amma. I wanted to ask about the emotional love gets converted to emotional strength to intellectual conviction. So what are the forms of emotional love and what are the forms of emotional strength? So I wanted to understand
That again, going deeper right now is not the forum for that. Again, hopefully in the future we can get to that. That is what been requested. Types of emotional love, then we need to go into Narada Bhakti Sutra. And this is not the forum, but when it becomes emotional strength, it is only one, Jnana Mishrita Bhakti, irrespective of which type of which form of love. And I won't say it is an emotional love. We just classify love according to Narada Bhakti Sutra into different types, but that has to concretized to become strength. Otherwise, whatever we do, however we pray for God, that has to get translated to our interaction with others. We are living with our family members, with our loved ones, with strangers. We cannot compartmentalize. I'm going to have bhakti towards God and hatred towards people. It cannot happen that way at all. We have not understood. This is what I mean by any religion for that matter when we take, because people have not understood this properly. There is so much division. There are so many religions, so much hatredness in the society. This is what Swami Ranganathananda ji says. If we have understood what it truly means, even words are limiting, religious, spiritual. Some people will get perturbed if we use religious. Some others will not know what spiritual means. These are limiting, but if we truly understand the essence of Advaita Vedanta, there cannot be any separation, or only doing prayers for God and then hating our loved ones cannot work that way. We have not understood the fundamentals.
Yes, sir. So in the first day you had said converting anger, jealousy, using this body as a lab to, love. So love is the emotional strength, and the intellectual conviction to change this into love is also an example for this, Amma.
Yeah, it is. And even hatred, when you go really go to the Advaitic level, hatred is also a form of love. Okay. Just like what Vasant talked about, we are moving from lower truth to higher truth. This is simplest way of Swami Vivekananda putting the Advaitic concepts, practical Vedanta. There is nothing like hatredness. It is love at a much rudimentary level becomes hatred. And as it gets purified, it becomes different variations of love.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I think there are no more questions, Usha ma'am and Vasant ji. It was a wonderful opportunity to have this workshop on mental well-being with the concepts of neuroscience and all the information and knowledge of meditation that you have discussed in this 3-day long workshop. We feel privileged and we really enjoyed this session, and I am sure all our participants would have benefited out of this workshop. And I would like to thank you both from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Vasanji.
Thank you very much, Ravish bhai. We also enjoyed. Thanks for all the organization efforts.
Thank you so much.
Privileged.
We shall end the session today. Thank you.